Chris. All right, we are live.
It's taking a second for YouTube to catch up, apparently.
Yeah, it's a few seconds behind.
I just take a great joy in like at least two subjects are being submitted being immediately declined for very good reason. It's just like, we can't talk about that. And I'm like, I know, but I just love putting them in there and going, what about this? Did you see this? And he's just like, yeah, I saw that. Why did you make me watch that? And I was like,
Yeah.
misery loves company.
That's what I assumed.
You need to know what's happening and suffer for not knowing. If you stayed on top of it, I couldn't surprise you so easily.
Yeah.
I should have sent you the link and not said anything. That's my mistake. Bloodaxe. I should have just sent him the link and then not said anything at all, so that he just watched it. So he'd be sitting there going, "What am I watching? What is this for?"
You assume he watches it.
Oh, he watched it. I believe it because he texted me cursing me out and was like, "Man, what the did I just watch?" He started off with "F you, what did I just watch?" And I said, technically a car commercial, and I'll leave it at that.
Technically a car commercial.
I will say he described it to me before he sent it to me, and I honestly just didn't believe him.
I sent him the link because he'd never believe it was as weird as I said. He wouldn't. And I said, no. And I even told him, I said, dude, I don't believe it. I'm looking at it while I'm describing it to you so that I convince myself this is real.
Then I saw the UK spelling of words, and then I sort of believed it. I was like, okay, it's UK.
Yeah, I when I saw that, I was like, what in the actual hell?
And shockingly, in Bloodaxe, when we worked at a place where we had to follow the fashion industry, so we've seen some weird stuff, they still made me go, wow.
I don't know. The fashion industry is weird, dude.
Well, the current is worse than it was back then. It's even stranger now.
My ex mother-in-law used to watch the what was that show? Had Heidi Klum in it.
What would you think I'd know? I'm black.
They had all the.
I'm like, Heidi Klum? I think I've heard of that person. I don't even know who that is.
They had all the different designers do like competitions and stuff.
Oh, I think I remember seeing like commercial of that show, and the stuff they pulled out was like, this person's just coming out covered in chocolate cake.
But yeah, so I've seen some weird stuff because you used to watch all those. And...
Oh, that's how you spell Klum. No, I still don't know who that is. It's like, let me see.
How do you not know who Heidi Klum is?
Why would I know who Heidi Klum is?
I've heard the name, but I don't know who she is.
She's been a very attractive model for a very long time, and has showed up as guest appearance in tons of different movies and TV shows.
She's a blonde model.
Oh yeah, wasn't she on like one of those like American Idols or something?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think she's older than that. I mean, she's been around for 51. A very long time.
So was she a judge? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's America's Got Talent that she was on.
Oh, yeah, she was one of the judges. Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks kind of familiar, but she also looks like every other blonde actress or whatever, so...
Well, the reason I'm surprised is because Project Runway was the name of the show.
You watched that?
My ex-mother-in-law used to watch it, and so it would be on in the background.
In my defense... I can't pick Taylor Swift out of a lineup of blonde women. If you put like a bunch of blonde singers up there and said, which one's Taylor Swift? I would probably point to another one. And I can't even name another one because I don't keep up with them and be like, is that her? So, like, I'm sorry, man. They don't stand out.
But no, the reason I thought you might know her, for one, I mean, she showed up in Parks and Recreation. She showed up in How I Met Your Mother. She showed up in...
A lot of models did that, though.
Not all the guest appearances she are showing up here, because I think she was in...
well, you really want to know she's been around for a while. She showed up in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. I mean, she's been in a ton of guest appearances in shows, and it's usually like, oh, it's Heidi Klum. And then, you know...
She did a lot. It's Kate Beckinsale or whatever. I don't even know if Kate Beckinsale's blonde. I don't know these people.
But,
But like they do that a lot though.
I'm just surprised you don't know who Heidi Klum is. I mean,
I know that she's a celebrity, but like I said, there's a bunch like that. There's just, you know, it's a common thing. Blonde model, there's a whole bunch. I probably could look up models who guest star in shows and would get. I cannot believe you sent me that message, man. In the middle of the show, Bloodaxe. So that's how I pick out Taylor Swift. Okay. I thought you'd say, like, she's the one that's complaining about her ex-boyfriend, because, God, that's all. I know that about her. I know she keeps doing that. You date Taylor Swift, you get to be in a song.
Yeah, that was one of the big things they were talking about. Was her dating Travis Kelce. Is that's going to be her next breakup album. Is when they break up. So more content
at this
for
point,
her.
If I dated Taylor Swift and somebody asked me, "So how's it going with Taylor Swift?" I'm looking forward to the hit single. That would be my reply. I hope that she puts a little.
All
bit
right,
of
let's
urban
get started because we are in a whole nother world right now.
I want you to get The Weeknd to play me. Let's go weird with it.
Yeah.
Get The Weeknd to play me in the video.
Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And
I brought the shirt this time.
and on Skype.
We have Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started.
God, I love this shirt. We all have one. Like, well, did Bloodaxe, did you get one of these in particular? I know that my son has one, I have one, and Zeno has one. I think you got one too.
But I have two.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think we all got them. So technically, everybody has like the spray painted Punisher shirt from one of the cons.
Yeah.
One of the good
Yeah,
ones.
I've got mine's a American flag spray painted, and I've got one similar to yours.
Yeah, I think we got one like this though. I think we all grabbed them at the same time.
All righty. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, I guess. And get started with Snow White trailer blasted by former Disney Imagineer, dubbed unwatchable. I will say the dwarves look horrible on this thing, man.
Man, the worst CGI is that one in the middle trying to look like a person. Who did that? I'm sorry, but every shot of Zegler I see, she looks unpleasant. It's like she's in a permanent bad mood and trying to act like she's not. You know, like when you look at your girlfriend or your wife and you go, "Are you upset about something?" And they go, "No." That's like the face she's making. No, I'm not upset face all the time. Like she always like not just there, go up to the top. Seriously, in this shot, her face says, "I hate all of you." Like that is just written under that. That isn't fake smile.
I don't see that.
You're terrible at picking women. I've seen you. Of course you wouldn't tell. You'd be like, "She seems so happy to see me."
I mean, dude, I don't know. I don't really care.
That's an honest statement. You don't care. Also, they could have made that dress look better. I've seen them when they did Beauty and the Beast. And Cinderella. They made the dresses work, but for some reason that just looks off. Now it could just be who's in it.
What do you got on this Bloodaxe? You're a Disney specialist.
Specialist. I don't know if I go that far with it, but
You suffered the most at their hands because of what they did to Star Wars.
I was watching a video about that this morning. I've discovered this YouTuber, Dr. Disaster, who's absolutely hilarious. It's a low budget doomcock, but he was talking about the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the fact that they haven't had a lot of pre-orders, and his point was that people have gotten beyond angry about the point where they're now apathetic, and so they don't even hate watch stuff anymore. And that's the way I've gotten towards Star Wars, to where I don't care. I mean, it's beyond my capacity to care about that franchise anymore. So, which is unfortunate because that's one of the things that I really, really enjoyed as a kid. But when it comes to Snow White, they got a lot of flack for the 7 mystical creatures, which was a bunch of weird dudes. And now they've got really bad CGI dwarves. And I don't even think that's the worst thing they've done to this film, because as I was, because I've watched several videos about this trailer that got dropped, and apparently got piggybacked off of the Wicked movie as a trailer before that film. I don't even know, is it even out on YouTube yet? I don't know if it is. But the fact that now it's like a social justice movie where she's trying to save the prince who's been like imprisoned or some bullshit like that, and it's just it. I didn't think they could screw it up any more than what I had originally thought. But now it's a whole campaign to free somebody who's been imprisoned. I'm like, wow, they just completely wrecked a lot of the things that we grew up as kids watching and the stories that we've read, to the point that they have to have about $1 billion worth of theatrical revenue just to be able to break even on this damn thing. So they're going to lose their shirt on this film, because the amount of ratios it's gotten for the other trailers, it's absolutely insane. And the fact that Rachel Zegler is so unlikable, and she's been so vitriolic towards fans and people in general, that even the normies, they know who she is, and they're not going to want to go see her. So I'm really, and I'm here for the laughs, because I just want to sit back with a bucket of popcorn and see how much money they lose. But the fact they've done reshoots over the past couple of years, we probably won't actually know how much they've sunk into this film between advertising and the reshoots and the original I guess how much they paid the staff to do all the film and stuff. But I'm here for it. I think it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a mess, but like I said, I don't know, man. I just don't care. Like, it's, to me, like, that whole Disney princesses and all that stuff is so outside my sphere of influence, or my care. I don't got kids. I don't really, I'm not going to go to Disneyland or anything. So.
No, but I mean, we all watched the original Snow White, and that fed into our fantasy genre from a cartoon perspective, with the dwarves and the witches and the magic and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I appreciated it for what it was, but what I don't appreciate is bastardizing the actual story. And I think that was it the Daily Wire's doing one with Brett Cooper, that if they put them both out at the theater, I'm willing to put money down. The version that we get from the Daily Wire will probably make more money than what Disney will make on this film.
Yeah. And I mean, the Disney version of Snow White is a bastardization of the Grimm's fairy tales anyway. So I mean, I guess that's my other thing of I guess once I grew up and learned about Grimm's fairy tales and realized how many bastardizations we did to that, I quit caring about
all the originals.
Yeah, the children's versions of these things.
Well, here's the thing. There's 3 points on it though. One, you talk about that, but here's the thing. There are people who put a different spin on the Snow White movies, but that's not what you want from Disney. Let's be real. You go to Disney to get the Disney-fied version for your family. Because most of Grimm's fairy tales are not appropriate for children. Being honest, man. They're pretty messed up. Like, they are, but they're also, they pull no punches at all. So, that's very common. We don't even want to talk about the original story of Sleeping Beauty. Oh my goodness, do you remember how that went? That is messed up. Do not look it up if you're under 18. It is a really messed up story. But Disney's brand is this family-friendly, family values style. So I don't want that from Disney. Because you want to know why? It's not what you think. It's that they're also bad at it. They've done a terrible job of putting these spins on because they don't know how to do it. those innovative, fresh minds, those are in other studios doing unique twists. I've watched like a version of this where it's like the Huntsman that was actiony and stuff. That's not what you go to Disney for. One. Two, this is terrible branding. You know, like I said, they are absolutely burning their brand in the ground because this is expected to be a live-action version. They're literally calling it the live-action Snow White. They're saying that because Disney has an animated version. You need to think about it, how it's even known. It's the live-action Snow White. People are expecting a live-action version of the animated classic. That's what they're expecting.
Well, I mean, I don't think they are anymore, dude. I mean, Disney has failed to do accurate or anywhere close to the original with their live adaptations. I mean, they have managed to screw up every one of them.
But example, Wicked.
So I mean, at this point, I don't think anybody actually thinks that's going to happen.
Wicked came out. Wicked is a completely different spin and changing of the concept of the story of the Wizard of Oz, and it really it flips everything on its head. All the good characters are bad characters. It's completely turned around, and it's really popular because it is aimed at a younger crowd. It's big. It's a musical, and I was surprised. It's apparently doing really well. A lot of kids are liking it. But the thing is, it's Wicked. It's also being done. It's from a Broadway play. It's over here. Yeah. You expect it to be different. But if you went to go see Disney's Wizard of Oz, you would expect to see something closer to the movie we grew up with, or maybe a slightly more accurate to the book version. You wouldn't expect them to flip it. Now, you're right, they've been doing that. Maleficent, Cruella, they've been trying. Problem is, those movies bomb. There's no sequel. You know they bomb because Disney cranks out sequels to everything. And there's no Cruella 2. There's no, actually, was there a Maleficent 2?
Yeah.
There might have been a second Maleficent.
Maleficent actually was pretty popular from what I understand. It did pretty
come on, Angelina Jolie, man. I'm a big fan. I know Angelina Jolie.
They
even
made I think, a board game based off of it.
Okay, careless about that. But no, they did make a sequel to that one. But Cruella did not get a sequel. But I will say this, though, about that. Now, the dwarves thing, that's all Peter Dinklage. That is not their fault. That's Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage boned that. He is the whole reason they tried to put in a bunch of weirdos, and then they tried to put in a bunch of CGI. He literally, like they said, we saw that, we covered this, a lot of dwarf actors said he pulled the ladder up, man, and then started throwing rocks at him down below.
I will say that's one of those weird things that I need to do more research on, because I saw another interview with Peter Dinklage more recently, and it was almost the complete opposite.
Of course he's changed it now. He got assaulted by the community, turned on him.
So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
because that's 7 roles that could have been done. Yeah. That's a lot of jobs, man.
We've ground Snow White into the ground. I think we're good on that. You know, we can. I
just want to get that in and be fair.
Yeah.
We're not biased here, despite what you may think. The dwarves is all Peter Dinklage. That is not Disney. Disney would have probably hired 7 dwarves for those roles, and were planning to prior to his statements. I firmly do believe that, because it's a live action. I do not believe they weren't planning to do that. That's
and
all
it would have been better than the CGI versions that we're going to get. But I mean, if you really want to be inclusive, that's a minority. I mean, that they're definitely would be more for a modern audience, but also be more true to the story. The fact that CGI with it is just a bad call.
Now, let's be honest, Bloodaxe. They were going to have the 7 dwarves be a mix of different races and genders, but they were going to use dwarf actors. I firmly believe that it would have been a multicultural crew. It would have been Asian, Black, Mexican dwarves. 1 or 2 would have been female, or half.
I have no problem with that.
Hey, they're still dwarves. I mean, it's still work.
Yeah.
I just hate that they didn't get paid, and he screwed a bunch of people out of jobs.
Right.
And I don't know why he do that. The man gets enough work that he ain't got to throw roles like this under it. Because he's like, oh, this is backward. No, it isn't, dude. They're not based on real people with dwarfism, you idiot. They're literally based on fantasy creatures. And yes, unfortunately, that is a common role that is offered to people with dwarfism. It's also money and a chance for them to become the next Peter Dinklage, which might be the whole reason he did that.
I mean, the the amount of eyeballs that'll be seeing the movie, I mean, you never know. You may have the next Vern Troyer because of what happened with this film, and now nobody has the chance to be able to do that.
Well, let's talk about hypocrisy while he's looking this up. But real quick, we'll try to. Here's a hypocrisy. He's talking about this role like it's derogatory for dwarfism, but his role in Game of Thrones was to play a character that was reviled for his condition, mocked, and made fun of, and it was a drama. So I'm like, I think I'd rather play a magical dwarf in Snow White than play like a guy whose role is to be reviled, looked down upon, and humiliated. So, I don't know, man, And then guess what? I got another one. He played a magical dwarf in the freaking Avengers movie, remember? He forged Thor's new axe. So, literally played a magic dwarf. Literally played a magic dwarf. But... So I'm like, yo, why is no one else allowed to do it? Oh, well, there can only be one, apparently. Only way he would have accepted it is if he got to play all 7 dwarves. Yeah. They did the camera thing and they just let him play all 7 dwarves at the same time.
It's a weird thing, but
and I used to like the guy too. That pissed me off.
I mean, I think he had a thought, and he thought he was doing good for his community.
How?
I don't think he personally was trying to.
How could he do good? His statement left no room for them to hire little people, the dwarves, in that role. No room. He basically said, you should not hire dwarves to play these roles. How's that helping?
Well, the way he said it, if you look at how he said it, he was like, okay, you're going to put a Latino in as Snow White, but you're still fucking with dwarves, basically. And he's like, you're saying you're progressive by putting a Latino in, but basically, you have dwarves living in a cave or whatever, Yeah. So I think he thought that it was degrading towards dwarves.
And the people that wanted those jobs felt that way.
Well, no, and like I said, if you notice, he hadn't said nothing else about that since then. He kept his mouth shut because I think he realized he fucked up.
Yeah.
And because of that, and the fact that he realized that, I think shows it wasn't intentional.
Shows he's not a Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to hurt that community. He was actually trying to help the community and just ended up screwing them out of a bunch of jobs. At least 7 of them. All right, let's move on.
A minimum of 7.
Speaking of screwing people over.
Understudies?
Yeah. Speaking of screwing people over, Sony continues to screw over the anime community by trying to get another company.
Why does this demon keep arising to ruin everything I love? Sony, please go jump off a bridge. As a company, not the people. Like, oh my God. I hate Sony so much. They're just determined to take all joy from everyone in the world.
Yeah, and not only is Kadokawa a company that's involved in the production and distribution of anime and animated films, but it also owns From Software.
The Elden Ring company. So, do you want your next Elden Ring to be super easy with a large HUD and advice and easy puzzles and somehow more, which is hard because the Elden Ring series is a diverse series.
This is like a double whammy,
characters
man.
Are all over the place, man.
Sony's playing the kill 2 with one strike.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna F over anime, and you guys like Dark Souls. Now when we're done with it, we're gonna have an easy mode and a cinematic mode, and No,
I mean, look, I don't think they'll do that because then it's not a Souls-like. I think what they'll do is continue along the streams of what Souls-likes does. They'll make even worse mechanics until it's almost unplayable.
And introduce long cinematics.
And they will do a lot of cinematics.
Everybody knows PlayStation is just a glorified cinematics.
But the core of Souls-likes are the difficulty. But I'm afraid they're going to take that difficulty and they're going to utilize it in the wrong manner. They're going
journalist mode. You know what? I know what they'll do. They'll keep the base difficulty, but they'll introduce a battle pass to where you can buy things to make it easier.
Now, that's something you may see them do.
Oh my God, it's going to turn the Shadows of Mordor.
As we've seen them do it in other games. And this isn't something that Sony is the only one guilty of. But you may see them have a story mode difficulty.
Yeah, journalist mode.
Yeah.
Game is journal mode. Oh my God, have you seen... I know we're going to get to it later. Okay, I'll wait till we get to it. I have watched some game journal gameplay of a certain game that just came out that I can't play for really stupid reasons right now. And games journals. But anyway, yes, they are trying to buy it. And the thing is, a lot of people have said that they don't know how they're going to afford it because the Kanakawa company cost a significant amount. It is value.
I will say we had a little bit of argument on the phone because when you told me the value, I was like, "There's no way."
I meant the whole company.
Yeah, there's no way From Software is worth that much. But when I found out it's the parent company that they're actually buying,
it also has anime and other stuff.
That makes a lot more sense that it's that high.
And his theory he came up with is that maybe 10 cents really helping them buy it because Sony, like from what finance people that looked into this have said, they don't have the cash to buy this company. And some people are worried they're going to bankrupt themselves because Sony keeps buying stuff, but they didn't make a lot of money this year. Don't be fooled, man. Like, Concord lost the money that all their other games made. Concord was such a huge failure. Yeah. It ate up the Astrobot money, right, Bloodaxe? Like, Concord lost them a lot of money.
You're also assuming that if they make another Elden Ring, it's going to be on multiple platforms.
Yeah, we're not assuming that. We know it's not going to.
No, it's not, which is going to kill it because... Like, Astrobot's their, quote, most popular game this year, and it sold like under 2 million at the last time I checked, which is laughable numbers compared to multi-platform games we follow. I mean, dude, Power World, man. Like, we know indie games. I mean, freaking Stalker 2, we're going to get to it later. Stalker 2 broke like 1 million in like a day or two. Like, it did half of that, like, almost instantaneously. And I think that's just the Steam numbers. And remember, Stalker 2... is free on Game Pass on PC and Xbox. And it still is selling better than a PlayStation exclusive that's their literal Game of the Year nominee. So, Elden Ring, which we know sold mass, Shadow of the Erdtree is also one of the largest of the year, would immediately dive down to the bottom. Plus, how the people who won't play it on PC because I won't ever play another one if I've got to do PlayStation Network. I will not sign into PlayStation Network.
That's the other problem is, even on PC, you're going to get that PlayStation Network sign in because apparently that's how they keep you safe playing by yourself.
Hey, it does make it safe. They have control of everything and can take everything from you when they need to. So you best watch how you talk. So
they can pull a crew on you, huh?
Now, the good news is...
Watch who you follow.
The good news is, though, that my favorite Souls-likes aren't Elden Ring, even though I enjoyed it in Shadow of the Erdtree. Black Myth Wukong and Lords of the Fallen was actually pretty fun. Mainly just because it's playable with my friend Bloodaxe. We were actually capable of playing the dang thing in multiplayer. Because, God, I hate the way Elden Ring does multiplayer and Dark Souls. I still hate that, I told you me and Seth tried, man, and, like, we couldn't even finish a conversation. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, to me, there's enough Souls-like out there. Then what's going to happen is that it's going to lose its throne as the top Souls-like. Sony will mess it up, and it'll become this thing over here you hear about that most people just go, I don't really mess with that. And that's assuming that they don't and do like he said, and they start screwing with the internals of the game and really mess it up.
And, I mean, as far as the anime goes, the biggest concern here is not just that Sony would now have control over what gets translated, but because this company actually also has control of what gets made, a lot of stuff. So this will make Sony actually have more decision power on even what gets made as an anime, not only what gets translated or brought over to the US.
If it doesn't match their values, they can literally make it so that the creators cannot make an anime. They'll be able to full-on censor. Combine that with the fact that having control from software, and here's a perfect example of why I'm worried. Squaresoft. Biggest name in RPGs almost. You saw what they did to it, man. Like, they're hemorrhaging money. We covered it last week. Hemorrhaging money. They almost destroyed Squaresoft. From Software ain't got Squaresoft like pull and just like The reason Squaresoft's still around is because of like Final Fantasy Online and like the remake of 7 is like floating the whole company at this point, pretty much like knocking it out the park to keep them from going all the way under. With the speed at which From Software puts out games, they can sink them because From Software is going to have 5 pies out. It's going to have 1 or 2 games. It's going to take a few years to make it. If that next game bombs, plus Sony's notorious for killing companies. They do that. I mean, they cut Concord's throat so fast. So yeah, I think this could be what puts From Software on the ground. And that's going to be horrible.
Yeah, Sony has shut down London Studio and Firewalk Studio.
It's in the same article.
Just recently.
Yeah, 2 studios just recently.
You have Bungie with round layoffs.
Multiple rounds of layoffs.
Yeah.
Now think about it. When they buy this and they're in a hole because this costs so much they can barely afford it, they'll be quick to do layoffs, if nothing else, just to try to get their money back.
Sony and Microsoft both need to just quit buying shit for a bit and get their shit straight.
That they have, yes.
Yeah.
Now tell him your cool winning strategy. He actually has a ray of sunshine. He suggested what might happen, and I liked it. About the guy at the top, Kojima?
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I mean, Kojima has been.
I think it's Kojima. Make sure I'm not quoting the wrong guy, but go ahead.
The head of From Software has been strongly against selling for a long time, and I think he even said that he would not work for Sony at one point. So I don't think he will stick around. Most likely, if this gets purchased, you'll see a large group of the
Miyazaki.
Yeah, Miyazaki.
Sorry, Kojima I think is the Metal Gear.
Yeah, but you'll see a large group, including most likely him, leave and create another indie studio. I mean, we're constantly seeing this. You constantly see people fed up when these smaller companies get sold to these conglomerates.
Dude, Ruckus Games.
And they go and they create their own studio. And I will say, indie studios have been pushing out better content than any of the major studios lately. So I'm all for seeing more indie studios. I just don't want it to happen this way.
Yeah, true, but that is the only good thing is they're not going to get Miyazaki. Because Miyazaki is also very particular. He don't even listen to us when we ask him, like, please stop doing Poison Swamps. And he's like, I'm putting in 2. Miyazaki is not a do-boy. So the 99% of what would happen is Miyazaki would bail, start his own game studio, and we would get some cool indie games. And honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think Souls-likes are better as indie games. They really do well as that. Like, as much as I rail on, what was the Pinocchio one? Oh, y'all remember the one I talked about? I forgot the name of it, and my brain fizzled out. But the Pinocchio-based, like Dark Souls, like Souls-like, it didn't fit I didn't like the way the parry system worked in it, but it was an amazingly beautiful game. I still went through the game just for the story, even though I hated every moment of playing it. Because the story and graphics and everything were very satisfying. The getting my humanity up to where I could pet the cat. Yes, I'm a cat person, not a dog person. So I was like, all right, I'm human enough. The cat lets me snuggle with the cat. I got to play the piano for the old lady, and she got to have memories of being young. It was really good moments. So it was an amazing game, And then, of course, Black Myth Wukong is a close to a Souls-like, amazing game. Lords of the Fallen, like I said, is the best multiplayer Souls-like that we ever played. Me and Bloodaxe played quite a bit of it. If it wasn't for our schedules, we probably would have played through the whole thing, but we got really busy and a lot of other stuff came out. But we enjoyed it. We were having a good time, weren't we?
Yeah, we can always go back to it at some point.
Oh, yeah. Also, the great thing is, because I don't think it's one that's going to get taken off. I think it's on there for the long haul. But
I bought it, so I bought it earlier in the year.
I'll probably buy it on sale to finish it with you if we don't get anything else through the pipe. So I agree. It's worth the completion to me. So, honestly, my favorite Souls-likes were not Elden Ring. I played through Elden Ring, but it was kind of so I'd have that badge of honor. But I played the other Souls-likes for fun and because there were elements of it I genuinely enjoyed. Elden Ring, it was for the challenge. Beating Shadows of Erdtree was, everybody said how hard it was, so I went in with my mage build so I could beat it, so I could go get good scrub. That was 90% of my reasoning. But did I play it because it has the best story? No. The best characters? No. Good multiplayer? No. But if he goes to another studio, we might get an indie style where he gets to try some more of these things. Cause
Yeah, and like I said, I think this would be the last string for him. Because, I mean, I know he was pissed back when Sony bought Sony and Tencent bought part of From Software a while back. And, they had exclusive rights for Bloodborne. They never did get a Bloodborne PC port. I know he was mad about that, but he was basically mentioned, if I say anything about it, I'm in trouble, so I can't even talk about it, And, I mean, yeah, I don't see him sticking around just from everything he said along the way. So
he'll lose his creative freedom, dude. Sony interfered with several of the games from SquareSoft. They implied that. It's been implied, I can't prove this, that SquareSoft kind of went like, yeah, we need to pull away because they're sticking toes in there. And if they own them, yeah. I know that our boy Xeno's trying to be a light in the dark, but if they own From Software, I don't think they'll be that hands off. I just don't think they got it in them. I think they're going to send in their, we'll just say their what do you call, consultants.
I didn't say to be hands off. I said I don't think they would completely change the direction of the games but I think they'll interpret the direction of the games incorrectly or what people enjoy about the games, and they will screw it up.
Sorry, I'm making that face. I was thinking what they did to the entire story of Spider-Man 2, where they went in and changed the whole universe and everything about every character. Even from, and I'm just like, they seem to be willing to take some liberties.
Like I said, I don't see that on the same level. I see, but we'll see.
Hopefully we won't. Hopefully this falls through.
Well, I'm fearing it's not, buddy. It sounds like this could happen in weeks.
It's okay. They've got plans for DLC for Black Myth, and then they're going to tell the story. I told you about the other character, the Judge of Hell who hunts the ghosts, and then the famous tactician. So the Black Myth series is going to be my Souls-like for a while. And maybe we'll get a Lords of Fallen too, Xeno. Bloodaxe, because you're playing Lords of Fallen with me.
I'll play it.
Yeah, we'll play the next one.
So speaking of things that you have made up in your head,
those games.
You had quite a few thoughts on the Game Awards and what was on their nominee list a while back, and we have an official nominee list now that proves you were wrong.
Oh, I heard Black Myth won the Golden Joystick Game of the Year for the Golden Joystick. So yeah,
I was surprised to see how much Black Myth Wukong was represented on that list.
I don't think it's going to win Polygon. I think his numbers are looking pretty bad, but it did get apparently the Golden Joystick. At least that's what I heard.
This is the Golden Joystick, the Game Awards.
Right? Is that one the same? I think there's more than one Games Awards. I think the Golden Joystick is different from the Game Awards, but I could be wrong. No, because, I don't think they called the results for that one.
There's no results for this one yet.
That's it.
I don't know what Black Myth. I knew they won that Game of the Year. I didn't think it was the Golden Joystick, though.
Well, Viking Golden Joystick.
Okay. Years like Golden Joysticks. Okay.
Just like my son. Question me and be wrong. People gonna learn. Q know what he talking about. I wasn't sure. But yeah, so they won one of them. But I think their votes were pretty low on Polygon. But yeah, no, a lot of the Game Awards actually pulled Veilguard out for their Game of the Year list, put on Black Myth Wukong. I don't think anyone put on Stellar Blade, but they did put on, I think, Space Marines for a few. So it was a big pivot, like a really big pivot. And I was glad to see it because it's stupid. I mean, what happened to Hogwarts the previous year was dumb. Hogwarts Academy, Hogwarts, whatever. It's the third part of the name. But yeah, the Hogwarts game. But Hogwarts Legacy? Huh?
Legacy.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. Not even getting in the running. And it's like the most biggest game of the year. And I don't care what your excuses are. The biggest game of the year should be at least votable. I'm not saying it should win, but you're not even be able to vote for the most purchased game or one of the most purchased game of the year is just bizarre. Why would the top seller, period, the top seller, not even be in the game of the year?
This is the golden, This is actually called the Golden Joystick Awards 2024, not the Game of the Year Awards, which is
That's what I said. I said Golden Joystick.
Yeah. So
I was
the
talking
Golden
about a
Joystick.
different one.
Yeah, the Golden Joystick did give it the Ultimate Game of the Year. Best expansion was given to Elden Ring.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that because Elden Ring being the other one's Game of the Year, I do agree with people that an expansion should not be eligible for Game of the Year. You just create a
Black
category.
Myth Wukong was also given Best Visual Design.
Cool. But yeah, and that was my thing, is that I like that they seem to have flipped around and said, okay, we're going to put in games that are like people are playing. Because also it didn't have the player. It wasn't getting played. How can anything be up for Game of the Year? Just barely got anybody playing it. And you may say, well, some of those games' numbers dropped. I'm talking about at its peak. If a game barely was played, it's probably not Game of the Year. If it never was able to get a good group going. Yeah, see, even JGH Star said he felt like there had been a bias put on the nominees. And I mean, you could also have quite a few nominees to me. So I'm like, hey, I'm not saying they needed to pull Veilguard out of Game of the Year. I'm just feeling that it being there an exclusion
as Game of the Year when there's other games that are not expansions that should have been on this list. I mean,
agreed.
They completely forgot about Pal World, which did magnificently, even from an indie studio. And I mean, I think they even have Indie Studio on here, and it's not there either. I'm like, how do you not have Pal World on there as well as
I know it was really early in the year.
Well, it's still in preview status, though, isn't it? I don't think it's been fully launched yet.
It was one of the most played games in January, early year. Knocked it out of the park for popularity.
Yeah, but it's still in preview status. I don't think it's been fully launched. Which, I mean, as long as they use that rationale to reset their thinking next year or whenever it comes out to be in consideration. But yeah, based on the numbers, I agree. But I think because the preview status, they're probably holding back.
That may be it. But I mean, Manor Lords, I don't think has been launched yet either. I think it's still early access. So
I believe the Metaphor, the ReZero, whatever that one, go back up. I believe that's going to be the Game of the Year, and it's a good pick, I think. It seems to be really popular. The Metaphor, Refence.
I haven't even heard of it. I don't know how
it's really popular RPG, turn-based and everything, but with a couple extra mechanics. But it is, we did cover it. You just forgot. We saw the video. We covered it one of the shows. Apparently, it's really popular. Like, I've been surprised. I've heard nothing but praise for it, and a lot of people. I've heard several different channels saying it's their Game of the Year choice, if not Black Myth Wukong. They said it should be the Game of the Year. Now, don't know its numbers. We're checking now. Kind of small on the numbers, though. So it may be really popular, but within a small demographic.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really that great, dude.
Agreed. So, but it's what I believe they're going to do just because I keep hearing it's being sung. Now, it also has certain political messages in it, so that might be some of its popularity, too. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, that I think is a good contender versus Black Myth. That might be a good one because Final Fantasy, the second Final Fantasy game was also going to be. Oh boy! Come on, dude. And it still has 78,000 players. Yeah. I beat that months ago.
Still has almost as many players as that game had at its peak.
When your current top players is only a little bit below a brand new game's maximum player.
Yeah.
And your lowest is 10,000.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know Black Myth was still banging like that. Hit the Final Fantasy VII real quick. That's wild, man. I mean, I love it. I mean, Black Myth Wukong's my Game of the Year. But I was trying to be reasonable and say, what are other games that should be up? But I am based on praise for it, not numbers. Zeno's actually checking, and they're...
Yeah, but this wasn't actually... It was released console first, so this is one of those that's hard to...
Oh, that's also 2.4. Wait a minute, did you get the latest one?
It's one of those...
No, you need to do Rebirth, not Remake. That was Rebirth. That was a remake. You need to do Rebirth. That's the last one to come out. I started 2.2 years ago. You need to do the Rebirth numbers. There's two different games.
I don't see it on Steam, though.
They don't have it on... Oh, maybe it's only on Play. Well, then it's impossible to know. Yeah, maybe it hasn't hit PC yet. Console exclusive getting game of the year that's not even available on PC or anything would be odd. So it's probably not going to pull it off then if it's not even.
It's not even on.
So yeah, honestly, it's probably dang it. I didn't want to seem biased, but probably Black Myth just because most people haven't played Rebirth.
Yeah,
if
it's
only
on PlayStation 5. So
yeah. So it's probably going to be Black Myth on Polygon. Wow. Unless they, like I said, unless it's Rebirth 0, but I don't see anything else. Astrobot's probably not going to pull it either because of it being console. I think it's console exclusive, and its player base is pretty. I mean, it might be on PC. I don't know. Astrobot may be on PC, but I know it's numbers.
I mean, who
aren't that
did
big.
this?
So wow.
Okay.
On original release, My biggest thing is that I've heard good things about Rebirth, and some people calling it their game of the year, but those people were PlayStation people.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's also it's got a really narrow fan base. I think.
Yeah.
Very strong fan base, but narrow.
Well, yeah. Same thing for the the other one. So, all right. Wow. So we may see Blacksmith sweep the Game Awards.
I mean, honestly, it's deserving.
Yeah.
I think it's deserving. So.
Oh yeah. I'm just trying to be fair. I know I'm biased, so I'm trying to look at other potential games. But honestly,
it's hard to look at the numbers and not go, if this game doesn't get it, this thing's real.
I mean, honestly, the only real ones that could have contended with it, they didn't put in, like Space Marines 2 and Power World. They're the only ones that are going to have numbers to even fight it to say that this game was big. So yeah, they didn't put in any games big enough to compete with Black Myth Wukong. Because Warhammer's got some good numbers.
Yeah.
Space Marines 2's got some good numbers. And we know Power World for a while, it was a period, but for a while had good numbers. Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's kind of weird if it doesn't win because the other games are fractional in even the number of people that played them. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be Game of the Year if you were played by like 2% of the game base. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There ain't enough people to call it the best. No, let's now have a moment of silence for another. SBI is contributing more to unemployment in this country than the economy.
Oh, man.
Than the economy. Like, my God. Well, remember, we covered the Kenzaro game, like, layoffs. Within, like, a couple of months, they have just, SBI is just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so you have... Unknown non-developer Reflector, which was hit by the SBI bug, and then
18% of their staff
right
before the holidays.
Hyperlight Breaker developer Heart Machine confirms layoffs as well, which
right
was
before
also
the holidays. Which also, yeah. And the reason we bring this up is just because, man, right before the holidays is bad. They talk about how depression's bad in the holidays, money's tight.
Yeah.
We're going into an unknown future with other things. We don't talk about that stuff, but I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen in the next couple of months.
Well, no, I mean, it is, if you, to get clinical, if you go and look at the stress markers, holidays are big stress markers and election years are big stress markers. So you have, this time we're going through holidays and we have an election year, so we're at one of the highest stress markers.
And military conflict. So, and then you just terminate a bunch of people. And why? Because you thought you should listen to Kim Belair, and I told you I'm not hiding names anymore. Kim Belair, the head of SBI. An article we're not covering because it's kind of hard to verify. As a former employee of SBI, did a big expose. He left. He was one of the security, and he had an incident. I won't go into all details. You can look into it, but he was on their IT security team. But basically, he said when he worked there, he said she's mentally troubled. He called her. He said she is not fit to run a company. She's got mental problems.
And I will say this about this DEI stuff and all that. I mean, we had recently one of my favorite games, Dragon Quest III, that also got hit by it. And I will tell you, dude, I broke and I bought it,
I knew you would.
And so I bought Dragon Quest III, the remake, and it's so fucking dumb. And I'm not saying the game's bad. The game's not bad. It gets confusing. And the reason it gets confusing is because they let these people come in, they made this type A, type B, thing, or appearance A, appearance B, all right? Because they didn't want to use male and female. But they then still have male and female used throughout the entire game. If you choose type B, you're called a heroine. If you choose type A, you're a hero.
Does it still have the gender-based classes?
The classes seem to still have some of the
like a dancer that
some
only...
of the equipment requires that you be type B,
does
like
it say
dresses.
Type B, or does it say female? What does it say?
I think it varies. That's the thing. It's confusing because then you also have personalities, and personalities have gender related. And the game Dragon Quest III was one of the more intense because of the personalities, the jobs, and all that stuff. They added a lot of weird mechanics, and a lot of them were gender-based, so it really makes it a weird choice to do this Type A, Type B thing on.
When it would cause a lot of mix-up and confusion.
Because you would, and then not put the effort in to change it everywhere in the game, try to use gender neutral.
Are you
or
implying
like
that they just did a hand wave per functionary, like, look, we kind of care, but in the end they did it?
Yeah, I feel like they came in, they said, well, we want you not to use gender on character selection. And they were like, all right. And that's all they did. Yeah. Because because of that, it really makes the game more confusing than it should be. Because there's mechanics that require gender.
Well, remember what I said about Life is Strange. I really did mean that. It's nothing wrong with the game that is designed around those ideals. The key word is designed around those ideals. Because then at least, well, if somebody put effort in, because my God, that one game, Dustborn, they did not.
That's my problem.
But it works. But when you try to put it in half-assedly into another game, you don't accomplish your goal for anyone.
No.
You've alienated people who don't understand that stuff, which, sorry, is still the majority. And then you've alienated the people who do understand it, who see that you didn't even do it right. Look, when I go into talking about stuff, I try to find out.
If there was a consistency laid out and they corrected the mechanics to work with, appearance A, appearance B, and stuff like that, then it wouldn't be so confusing. But because they did a half-assed job, not only is it confusing, but it's also immersion breaking because you're sitting there and going, okay, I'm trying to calculate the best profession and the best personality for my character to level so I can get the most stat multiplier when I'm leveling this class.
Which they still have in the game where these things matter.
Yeah. And it's hard to do when some of the mechanics were changed and some of the mechanics were not.
Well, it's like an example. I literally don't care and say have it, but I'm not a big DEI guy. But I put more effort into understanding it than the average person. When I found out that there was a 2 in the things, I went to my friends and asked them to explain it to me. And I got an explanation of what the new initials meant. Because I have this channel, I do things. I can't speak to something if I don't even bother to know what's going on. I got a full definition of what two-spirit is because I wanted to be informed. You don't half-ass. Put in the effort to at least try. If you're going to do it right, man. I mean, but here's the thing. It's a remake. Why not just make a new Dragon Quest game that mechanically flows with this from the full ground up? When you alter something and you don't even put the effort in to really try, it's like what I said about for my demographic. We don't like half-ass effort of representing us. Either go all in and know what you're doing and do positive examples, or leave us alone. Because we don't need another hood, half-talking something thug. But we also don't need another that weird safe Negro y'all put together with the bow tie and the glasses, and it's just Steve Urkel who's very safe and unthreatening either. That's not positive representation. It's half-ass. It's just so you can say, look, there's a dude with a brown face. And it's like, that's not inclusion. You don't understand. It's the same thing here. Clearly, they didn't put the effort into doing gender representation. For a fact, I mean, after all, they have a binary gender system. They already failed. Trust me, I try to know this stuff. If you're doing a binary gender system, you've already failed at inclusivity. Just the truth. So you might as well just stuck with it from the beginning and just said, we're going to make the game the way it was. If you're not, then please stop making these fake efforts.
Yeah. Because, yeah, a lot of the personalities, they mixed and matched, and they tried to remove gender, but, yeah, it's really weird. But anyway, yeah, they didn't do a good job. And if you're going to do it, at least do it right. That's my thing. I mean, you had people, you paid people to come in and consult you on this, and they did a shitty job. Fire those people. Do not hire those people again.
You literally confused a person who is aware of drag. Dude, no, this guy's a guy. Look, I think I'll be honest. In my head, sometimes I think I might be one of the best gamers in Dicejunkies. No, there are categories. I didn't even remember the personalities. He does. He probably tried to replicate previous builds that he knows work, and they didn't work. I know he's upset.
Yes.
Because he went in and stuff wasn't working.
Because when you hire people, there used to be certain combinations, because you'd give them seeds to bonus their health out, or their stats out, and you could use certain combinations to get certain personalities. Because of the whole gender thing, that doesn't necessarily work, because those were also combinations of male, class, gender, class, and it's just like, So, yeah.
Reminds me of Star Ocean and the skill system. What kind of books should I have my character writing in his free time? Those complex systems. And that shows that, like I said, they literally confused a veteran of the game series because they didn't do a cohesive. Note that he's not being annoyed it's in there.
No.
He's being annoyed that it doesn't work properly. And
yeah.
But now, because of this experience, there's a part of his mind that's probably gone, I wish they hadn't done this crap at all. Because they broke it when they did it.
So, anyways.
Just like if you put a patch out for your game. Get into it, because this one, now I get to be annoyed.
All right, let's do it. I mean, dude, I played it. It was fun.
Shut up, keyboard boy.
I got annoyed with the lighting effects and hopefully maybe they patched that where the lighting effects aren't so horrible. But I'm gonna go back to it.
I've been talking about this game for months as the game I was hoping would fill out my game for the rest of the year. They put out a patch when the game comes out. It breaks the controller. You can't use a controller with it. And there's fixes, but half of them don't work. And I looked at it, and I just said, F you, I'm going to wait till you fix it. As far as I know, I don't think they fixed it yet. I'm going to try it tonight, but I haven't heard anybody saying it's fixed. So, Stalker 2. I've been playing Remnant 2 and Call of Duty Zombies because I am a controller player, especially on a high difficulty game. Trying to teach myself to use keyboard and mouse on Stalker 2, which is supposed to be really hard, sounds like a bad idea. And of course, my boy Bloodaxe is a hardcore controller user, but at least I don't think that's a problem on the console. I don't know if he's tried it yet on console. But yeah, PC, game freaking sits up there and the controller doesn't work. And I have an Xbox S, so I probably can't even fit that game on my S. So I put it on my PC because I have terabytes of game drive. Have you tried it, Bloodaxe?
No. This week's been pretty hectic with work, so I really haven't had a time to sit down and play it yet. But I've got it downloaded, and I'll probably pick it up later on this week.
Apparently they've been having that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, because with the holiday and stuff, I'll have some extra time, so I'll probably start playing it later on this week. But not yet. I'm still disappointed it's only single player though.
Yeah, apparently they're also having controller issues on the Xbox versions.
Are you kidding?
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
but that's the only way you can play it on an Xbox.
This is Xbox experiencing some strange issues on the controllers with developers working on a fix now, according to Windows Central. Stalker 2 sets controller gamepad dead zones to 0 on Xbox. As a result, this means that even the slightest nudge on the controller stick will move the player while being in the game.
In a really picky game, like those little bit of context, input is bad, especially on a controller when you're trying to be accurate. But I mean, I can't start the game. Like when I first put it up, I tried every replug. I could not get the game to read the controller at all. And I just said I'll wait for them to patch it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like from the number of issues I'm coming up, and they say if you plug in using the USB, it works. But
no, I use a USB controller.
Okay.
You know that. I bought a PC Xbox controller. It only has a USB. Like, it is a USB controller. It does not work. And I looked on some message boards, and they were still having a problem. It varies, to the degree of trouble. Some people were able to fix it. Some people weren't. Fixes that work for some people didn't work for others. And I just looked at it and said, I'm only going to get frustrated. So I'm just going to wait. Now, my surprise is I have not heard it's been fixed yet. And I'm like,
no, from everything I'm reading, it hasn't. So yeah, it sounds like Stalker 2 Chernobyl is one that needs to bake a little longer. So if you don't want to get annoyed by the game, you might want to just wait.
So I can't tell you if it's any good because Xeno, like I said, was irked from the beginning for visibility, and then the weird way they decided to handle water. Yeah. You cannot tell that story, man. That was so funny.
Yeah, okay.
It made you turn it off.
So here's my experience with Stalker 2 so far. So first I get in there and get off, and I'm like, okay, man, looks pretty nice. You're looking, moving around. I got to go through these tunnels. So I go navigate through the tunnels. Well, the tunnels are completely black. No contrast whatsoever. Like, no lighting. Just black. I adjusted contrast. I tried everything to see if I could get it where I could actually see a little bit of a wall or something. But no. So I just had to try to blindly go through. I even shot my gun, which shows a flare when you shoot your gun, but does nothing to the lighting in the room.
Now, have you checked to make sure you're not having a game journal moment and there's a flashlight button?
I have not. I couldn't find the flashlight button. I
just want to be sure because I hate that to pop up later.
I went through the controller key mapping, and there was no flashlight button, which is odd because I'm assuming you should have a flashlight at some point.
Apparently, there's not a button for you. Just use it.
Or it may not be a mappable key, but it never popped up and told me if there's a flashlight button. So I don't know. Maybe I am stupid. I finally get through the tunnels. And when I get through the tunnels, I'm walking through. I get some radiation damage here, get some radiation damage there. So just sort of searching, looking at the different things. Tend to, when I get near machinery, there's a lot of radiation damage. I walk through some puddles that I didn't get any radiation damage from. And I get to this wall, and I'm like, I wonder if I can get to the other side of this wall. It's next to a pond, and it breaks off where the pond is. So I was trying to creep around.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe I can jump in the water real quick and then jump out. I'll probably get some radiation damage.
Well, remember, I told you before we go to this that the devs had said, hey, it's dangerous to jump in irradiated water. So I get his assertion that I'm going to get radiation.
So I'm like, maybe I get a little radiation damage, but maybe I can get out quick enough where I don't die from it. I jump in, immediately hit death screen, no radiation damage, no nothing. I just drowned. Like, apparently I can't fucking swim. Instant death, no ifs, ands, but yeah, I didn't even have a drowning sound, honestly. And, it's just instant death. It's just bloop, bloop, like you fell off a cliff,
Oh, that one. Now, the Ribbit 2, where there isn't really water. You just fall off the map and just keep falling.
So that annoyed the crap out of me, so I turned it off. And then he told me about his controller issue, so I'm just going to wait until we can both play it and
review it.
Yeah, and there's been some patches. There's already been like 3 or 4 patches, I think. So.
I was just surprised because I made the comment of, you put the water in there.
Yeah.
If the character can't swim, why are you putting ponds in there? I mean, I get it, they look pretty, but put a fence around it because if I can't swim, I'd rather not even be able to enter the water. If I literally can't, like, it's insta-death. If it's you could go to waist high and be okay, but if you do like he said, where you just walk in and it just goes, bleh, I'm like, okay. I don't know, that's just me. I never really understood we're going to put water in the game, but it insta-kills you, and then we're going to put it, like, in your way, to where he ran into that literal problem of, there's a wall. he doesn't see any way around this wall but to go through this pond. I can see the reaction of why you would think that you could go through the water and with no warning or anything.
Hey, what's up?
Now, again, I don't know if I'd turn it off. I think I would just mark it as, but I also played Dark Souls. I played a lot of Dark Souls games. And like I told him, I said, well, in Dark Souls games, they put stuff in there just to kill you. In Lords of the Fallen, they did that. Remember Bloodaxe? There'd be an area we'd be like, oh, what's over there? And it's like, oh, literally, that looks like a place to go just to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I think I could jump to this ledge. No,
Nope.
no, you can't. Dude, in Black Myth Wukong, there's an area where you go into this prison and there's chests around.
Okay, I want to tell you, this guy that I'm watching the first 15 minutes of,
Yeah?
he has a flashlight. Not sure where that's coming from.
Did he have it in the cave, though? Did he have it in the part where you couldn't see? He has a flashlight. You missed did you miss the flashlight? Go
probably
to
on
the
the
actual cave
D-pad.
part if you can. Let's see. I want to not know. Did you miss the flashlight? But note, he didn't quit because of that
Oh,
section.
well, this had popped up. So it popped up apparently while he was walking towards the cave how to turn on the flashlight. I don't know
my
why
God,
it's.
you had a game journal moment.
I don't know why it's not in the key mapping though.
Did it say what button to hit? Did you see it
Well,
so you know?
this was right. It was he's using the controller.
Man, screw that guy.
I did not see that pop
Controller
up.
works.
But anyway, apparently they have flashlights. So.
Well, you know, it is a bit glitchy. Maybe your pop-up didn't post. I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean,
he's
it's very
playing on-
possible.
You know what? He could be on easy mode. Easy mode may tell you how to do it.
But he does have a flashlight, so I'll give him that.
See, even us veterans can have a game.
Now,
journal
here's my
moment.
thing. Why still, my gun didn't have any flash. My guns still
Yeah, I
have
get
flash.
that. Even some indie games I played have had your gun lights up the area around you. In Remnant 2, I think it does that. Like, some of the weapons, when they glow, they shed
See,
light.
and that's my other thing. Like, in the inventory, it does not show you have a flashlight.
Wow, it doesn't. It must be pinned to your chest or something, yeah.
So,
Oh, God, that's the spot where the games journal kept dying. The idiot kept standing in the electricity like a literal numbskull. Like, games journals, so trust me, I'm teasing. He did not have a games journal moment because games journals are way worse. They are like, it's like they don't know what games
now,
are.
you see, there's let me share this. You can see there's water on the ground here, and you're able to walk through it. He's taking a long time killing this thing. It was a pain to kill, but not that big of a pain. You do see water around here that you do walk through with no problem. It's not radiated. Now he doesn't look like he went towards the fence that I went towards.
Our boy Xeno
But here's the
is
pond over there.
Yeah. The pond of death.
And yeah, apparently you stick a toe in there and you just immediately die.
Don't even put monsters in it to like tell you like, oh, you got grabbed by something. It's just blah.
Yeah. See, there's the pond over there. I don't know if he'll go.
It's beautiful. The
He's
water
not going to
looks
go
great.
anywhere near the pond, apparently.
Well, I mean, does that
Which
make
I will
it-
say, the objective was not to go anywhere near the pond, but
But that's how you find stuff.
Yeah.
This game has a lot of hidden stuff.
apparently didn't find a fucking flashlight. But
That's because you already had the flashlight. Well, wait, Bloodaxe, you finally get to really get. You're not going to give Xeno a bit of the business, man. I love him walking around. Where's my flashlight? Pinned to chest. He's just like just honest. If you go look at your armor,
That's
I
funny.
bet you can see the flashlight on the armor. I bet it's on the chest.
oops.
What'd you do? We still here?
No, I just accidentally closed out
Oh,
all
we're-
of our articles.
Ah, man, we're already over time.
There we go. Anyway,
Well, so there you know. There is a flashlight. There's a button to do it. I
Yes.
wouldn't know what that button is, but apparently there is a button. Oh, yeah, we do have one last topic. Oh, no, we did. We talked about that. The game of the year. So, yeah.
yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about that. I mean, it's just
It's quick, like, yeah.
just a slight side note. I will say we talked about you being forced to play a female on Fable. Supposedly it does give you the options of male and female protagonists. Still, it doesn't sound like you're able to create your character, which I would prefer.
I've
Because-
already claimed I'm going to bully them
Yeah.
if the male character's not black. I've already said I decided I'm going to play that card. I'm going to claim they're not inclusive.
I mean, dude, it's 2024. You can let me pick my character. You can let me build my character. You can let me choose my skin color, my gender, all that stuff. That's not a hard thing to do. You know,
choose type A or type B.
I mean, the thing is character creators have been around for so long, you can pretty much just steal a character creator from one of your previous games and just run with it.
Dude, in Lords of the Fallen, it's like the laziest character creator.
Yeah.
Even if you just have the one where you have like 5 faces of different colors and you can do a little bit to your hair and beard, or, you know, just your hair in another case, and a little bit to your makeup. I've seen some bone shallow character creators. It's still more immersive than the absence. And if you can choose male or female, why can't I make the guy black?
And I mean,
and Xeno can make his classic look, man.
Fable has always chosen your character for you.
True.
But I would prefer all games give me choice of creating a character.
Now, J-Star, what I do want to say, they did say that there still will be character customization. Like, I think in-game you'll still be able to go to the barber shop. But we're just saying, you know, it would be nice to see that. But, hey, at least I get to pick.
Yeah, you did get to choose, like, facial hair and stuff like that, from the barber shop and stuff in the previous Fables. But
you couldn't tan. He lied to me. Peter Molyneux promised me tanning, and I couldn't get that little pale son of a gun, you know what I'm saying, the tan at all. I kept trying to tan him, see if I can get him a nice, like, you know, like mocha, caramel.
Yeah.
No, he did not tan. But it's also a British game, you know, and they were keeping a look. But at least you get now. The joke we made is that since a lot of people suspect that the female character, we've seen a character-like designer who looks just like that. We think that the male one will just be him again, and it'll just be the same face. Just on each body.
I don't
that would
get
be hilarious.
This whole thing of not making characters visually appealing. If you're going to force a character on me, it should be a visually appealing character. Sorry. You know, I mean, we have beauty standards. I know there's people against them, but damn it, they sell.
Hey, man, that's what they make helmets for. Put a helmet on your character and never look at their face again.
We know what makes money, though. Why do we keep going against it?
Go ahead, Blood.
As a follow-up, it is the tab button on the keyboard turn on the flashlight in Stalker 2.
No, it is not. I hit the tab button multiple times.
No, it's the other tab button.
If it is the tab button, mine was broken. Because I trust me, dude, I went through different keys because I was like, okay, F maybe? Nope, not F, tab. I went through
maybe he did pick up something at the beginning that gave him his flashlight.
Or maybe mine was just bugged, I guess.
It's
possible.
It's the right bumper on the controller for Xbox, and it's the tab key for your keyboard.
Okay, mine was obviously bugged. Apparently, my version of Stalker does not come with a flashlight.
You're going to have to start over, man.
Yeah. Or maybe
and it says there's a prompt during the tutorial that tells you about the flashlight.
We saw
That's why
it.
He didn't get the prompt. Yeah, he didn't have a flashlight.
We saw the prompt, but I mean, I didn't see it pop up. And then, like when I said, I went to the keyboard mapping and it wasn't listed there when I went.
Which is weird because it should have told you what tab does. Yeah,
you know, unless, like I said, something was wrong with mine, or I could have just been out of my mind that day. And but anyway. It's got a lot of issues, so I'm just going to wait for them to fix those anyway. I'll have a better playing experience.
Dude, I mean, I hear, there's no reason not to let them patch it a few times.
I'm building a new computer anyway, and
so me too. So December, the new gaming rigs.
Yeah. And then
I might wait for that.
And then I can just play it on epic quality and laugh at everybody, you know.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the darkness in great detail. I can see the
darkness in detail. Every pixel of that darkness will be in my eyes.
And you'll be able to see the watery grave awaiting you. You'll see bodies. Maybe you'll see your previous body.
I'll see your previous body down there just waving like,
can't swim.
All right, guys. Any last notes before we close out Bloodaxe?
Just hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving next week. We'll look forward to getting you updated on Stalker 2 once we've all had a chance to actually play it.
And the ability for me to play it.
All right. And with that, we'll close out. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com where you can find links there where we are online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.